$1 million weekend. What if just one weekend could change your life? No boss, no meetings, no years of planning. Just you, an idea, and 3 days. In today's video, we're diving into $1 Million Weekend, a fast-paced, no-excuses guide to building a real business. Even if you have no idea, no experience, and no money to start with. It was written by Noah Kagan, a successful entrepreneur best known as the founder of AppSumo, a platform that helps creators and small startups grow their audience. Before that, he worked at both Facebook and Mint.com as one of their earliest employees, so he's seen what works. And more importantly, what doesn't. But this book isn't about startup culture or Silicon Valley success stories. It's about taking small, focused action right now, not someday, and learning how to move from "I've been thinking about starting something" to "I've made my first sale." If you've ever had an idea that stayed stuck in your head, or felt like you were always waiting for the right time, this might be the push you've been looking for. Here on Perfect English, we break down powerful ideas like this in clear, natural English, so you can grow your understanding, improve your fluency, and absorb the rhythm of how real English is spoken. Let's get into it, and find out what it really takes to launch something meaningful in just 3 days. The $1 Million Mindset. Before you can build anything meaningful, whether it's a business, a side project, or even a habit, you need to start with your mindset. That's where most people actually get stuck. Not because they don't have good ideas, or because they're lazy, but because they let fear and perfectionism get in the way before they even begin. According to $1 Million Weekend, most people don't take action because their minds are full of reasons not to. They tell themselves, "I don't have time," or "I don't know enough," or "it's not the right moment yet." And maybe you've said those same things to yourself. It's easy to fall into that trap, where you end up spending more time thinking, planning, and hesitating than actually doing anything. But this book pushes back hard against that. It argues that action is what creates clarity, not the other way around. You don't wait until you feel confident. You act first, and the confidence comes as a result. That's why one of the core ideas in the book is this: action beats ideas. Because the truth is, you can have 100 brilliant ideas, but if you never take action on even one of them, nothing happens. Meanwhile, someone else might act on a simple, even average idea and turn it into something real and valuable, simply because they were willing to try. Another key message is about building confidence. A lot of people think confidence is something you either have or don't have, like it's a personality trait. But what $1 Million Weekend teaches is that confidence is a skill. It's something you build through repeated action, and especially through doing things that make you uncomfortable. To train this, the book introduces one of its most famous mindset exercises, the coffee challenge. It's simple. The next time you go to a coffee shop, when you order your drink, you ask for 10% off. That's it. You're not doing it to get the discount. The point is to make a request that feels awkward, to risk hearing no, and to realize it's actually not that bad. Why does this matter? Because fear of rejection holds so many people back, not just in business, but in everyday life. And when you learn that you can survive rejection, you start showing up differently. You become more willing to send the message, make the offer, and start the project, even if it might fail. So before you start thinking about logo or website or strategy, the real question is, can you act before you feel ready? Because $1 Million Weekend makes it clear, waiting for the perfect time is just another form of fear. The right time is almost never obvious. But once you decide to move forward, even in a small way, everything else begins to open up. And that's when the real momentum starts. Launch a business in a weekend, the 3-day formula. Once your mindset is in the right place, and you've decided that action matters more than perfection, the next step is to actually start building something. And that's where $1 Million Weekend gives you something incredibly useful. A clear, simple, 3-day plan to go from zero to a functioning business idea, with real customers and real momentum. This isn't a theory-heavy framework. It's designed to be used quickly, over a single weekend, to help you prove that your idea isn't just interesting, it's valuable. Let's break it down day by day. Day 1. Find a problem worth solving. The first day isn't about creating a brand or choosing a name. It's about solving a problem. And not just any problem. A real one that people already experience and want help with. This is where a lot of people overthink things. They try to come up with something unique or clever, something no one has ever thought of before. But $1 Million Weekend flips that idea on its head. It says, don't try to be original, try to be useful. Most good business ideas come from everyday frustrations. You might notice people struggling to manage their time, cook meals, organize their inbox, set up online tools, or stay motivated with their fitness goals. These aren't glamorous problems, but they're real. And where there's pain, there's opportunity. The key on day 1 is to listen. Talk to people. Ask questions. Don't pitch anything. Just pay attention to what people say they wish was easier or faster. If someone says, I'd pay someone to do that for me, take note. That's your green light. By the end of the first day, your goal is to identify one clear problem you can help solve, and to write a simple offer that explains what you're willing to do to fix it. Day 2. Make the offer and get a yes. Now comes the part that separates the dreamers from the makers. Instead of spending weeks building a product or designing a website, Day 2 is all about making your first offer and trying to get your first paying customer. That might sound scary, but it's simpler than it seems. You're not building anything yet. You're just putting the idea in front of real people to see if it clicks. You can send a message to a few friends, post on social media, or reach out in an online group. Keep it short, honest, and clear. I'm offering to help with this problem. I'm testing it out this weekend. Let me know if you're interested. The book is very clear about this. Until someone pays, you don't have a business, you just have an idea. You don't need 10 customers. You just need one. That one sale is enough to prove that the idea is real and that it has value. And more importantly, it gives you confidence to move forward. Day 3. Deliver the value. Once someone says yes, it's time to deliver. That's what Day 3 is all about. You don't need to build something perfect, just something useful. Maybe it's a document, a coaching session, a simple design, or a setup service. You might do it manually at first, and that's okay. In fact, doing the work yourself early on helps you learn exactly what people want and where things can be improved. The goal isn't to launch something polished. It's to give the customer what you promised, collect their feedback, and learn as fast as possible. That feedback is what you'll use to refine the idea and figure out what's worth building next. At the end of these 3 days, you've done something powerful. You haven't just started a business. You've proven that people are willing to pay you for something you created. You've solved a real problem, and you've taken the first step in building something that could grow beyond just this weekend. In the next section, we'll look at real-life stories of people who've done exactly that, starting with nothing but an idea and a little courage, and turning it into something bigger. Let's keep going. Real-world case studies. One of the most powerful parts of $1 Million Weekend isn't the theory. It's the stories. The book doesn't just tell you what to do. It shows you how real people, many of whom had no special background, no audience, and no experience in business, used this method to get something off the ground in just a few days. These aren't stories of tech geniuses or celebrity entrepreneurs. These are ordinary people who decided to take action instead of waiting for the perfect plan. There's one story about a guy who noticed that a lot of his friends were struggling to set up email newsletters. They didn't know which tools to use or how to get started, and frankly, they didn't want to figure it out. So, instead of giving them advice or sending them a tutorial, he simply offered to do it for them for a small fee. He didn't have a website. He didn't even have a name for the service. He just messaged a few people and said, "Hey, I'll set up your newsletter for you. I'll take care of all the boring parts. Interested?" They said yes. And just like that, he had a business. In another case, there was a busy mum who had already been planning meals for her own family each week. She realized that a lot of other parents were struggling to stay organized when it came to cooking, so she decided to turn her weekly meal plans into a product. She didn't build an app or start a subscription service. She just created a simple one-page PDF and offered it online for a small price. Within 48 hours, she made her first sale. Then there was someone who had a knack for digital organization, the kind of person who keeps their folders, files, and cloud storage beautifully arranged. Most people hate that kind of work, but she enjoyed it, so she posted in a Facebook group, "If you're overwhelmed with digital clutter, I can help organize your files and set up a better system. Message me if you're interested." A few people reached out. She charged a modest fee, helped them organize their mess, and realized that this was a service people actually wanted. What's amazing in all these examples is that none of them started with a finished product. None of them waited until they had the perfect name, logo, or plan. They just looked around, noticed something people found annoying, and offered to help in a way that was quick, simple, and direct. That's the heart of $1 Million Weekend. You don't start with a polished business. You start with a problem, a promise, and a person who's willing to pay. And once you've made that first sale, you've done the hardest part. You've proven that someone, somewhere, values what you're offering. From there, you can improve, you can grow, and you can build something real. In the next section, we'll look at how to take that first success and make it sustainable, using tools, systems, and strategies that allow your business to keep working even when you're not. Grow it. Make money while you sleep. Once you've made your first sale and delivered something that solves a real problem, you've already done what most people never do. You've started. But that's just the beginning. The next step is learning how to take what you've built and grow it in a way that doesn't rely on you working all the time. In $1 Million Weekend, the idea of making money while you sleep isn't some get-rich-quick fantasy. It's about building systems. Small, simple systems that allow your business to run more smoothly and eventually more independently. This could mean automating things you do repeatedly. For example, instead of writing the same email to every customer, you might create a reusable template or even use a basic email tool that sends it for you. Instead of answering the same questions over and over, you could turn those answers into a PDF or a short video and send that out instead. The goal is to create assets, such as tools or content that you build once and use again and again. These don't need to be perfect or high-tech. They just need to save you time and help your customers in a consistent way. Another part of growing is delegation. If there's a task you can do, but it's not the best use of your time, consider handing it off. Maybe you hire a freelancer to help with design, or someone to manage your calendar or customer emails. Freeing up even a few hours a week can give you the space to focus on the parts of the business that actually move the needle. This is how you start stepping back from the day-to-day tasks, not completely, but gradually. The more you can document your process and turn it into a system or a workflow, the more flexibility you'll have in the future. Of course, not everything can be automated, and not everything should be. Building trust with your customers, listening to their feedback, and continuing to improve your offer are all things that still need your personal attention. But over time, you'll find a rhythm where some parts of your business run on autopilot, and others run with your guidance. The real message here is that growth doesn't always mean doing more. It often means doing less, but doing it more strategically. You don't have to hustle forever. You just need to be intentional about what you build, how you deliver it, and where your time goes. That's how you go from a one-person hustle to something sustainable. And that's how, little by little, your idea becomes a real business, one that supports you even while you rest. In the next part, we'll look at some of the most practical tools and tactics from $1 Million Weekend, including scripts, templates, and strategies that make all of this easier to put into action. Actionable tactics and tools. $1 Million Weekend isn't just about mindset and motivation. It's also packed with simple, practical tools that help you move quickly, test your ideas, and learn by doing. These aren't complicated systems or expensive software. They're everyday tactics that make it easier to take action, especially when you're just starting out. One of the most useful tools in the book is a cold email template, a short, respectful, and non-salesy message you can send to potential customers or collaborators. It's built around one idea, offering value without being pushy. For example, instead of saying, "I have a product, please buy it," You might say something like, I noticed you're working on something specific. I've helped others solve related problem, and I'd love to help if it's useful. No pressure at all. Just let me know. The key is to be clear, personal, and confident, without sounding needy. You're not begging. You're offering something helpful and giving the other person an easy, comfortable way to respond. The book also introduces a method for testing your idea quickly, often in under 24 hours. You don't build a website. You don't spend days working on branding. You simply write out your offer and share it with real people. That could be a text to a few friends, a quick social media post, or a basic landing page with a call to action. If no one replies, you've lost almost nothing, just a bit of time. But if even one person responds with interest, you've already done something that most people never do. You've validated your idea in the real world. The point here isn't to get it perfect. It's to test the waters, learn from what happens, and move forward with more clarity than you had before. Another concept the book reinforces is the importance of simple tools for delivering value. You don't need a custom-built system to send a document or schedule a call. You can use Google Docs to deliver a guide, Stripe or PayPal to accept payment, and a calendar tool like Calendly to book sessions. It's all about being quick, professional, and clear, without spending weeks building something no one has asked for yet. And finally, there's a strong reminder that motion matters more than optimization. Many people try to perfect everything before they even begin, focusing on the best logo, the right platform, and the ideal workflow. But $1 Million Weekend flips that thinking completely. It reminds you that progress rarely comes from having the perfect plan. It comes from taking any step and learning from the results. If you stay in motion, keep talking to people, keep adjusting your offer, and keep showing up, you'll build more than just a business. You'll build skill, clarity, and confidence faster than you ever thought possible. Now, let's bring everything together and talk about what it really means to begin. Conclusion and call to action. Now that we've walked through the full weekend blueprint, you can probably see that $1 Million Weekend isn't about becoming rich overnight. It's not about selling you a fantasy. It's about giving you a real plan. A real, workable plan to help you stop waiting, stop overthinking, and start doing something that matters. You don't need a groundbreaking idea or a massive following. You don't need a perfect website or months of preparation. What you need is momentum, and the best way to build it is by taking a small, clear step forward. Start by looking for a real problem, something you or the people around you often complain about. Then, make a simple offer to help solve it. You don't have to build anything yet. Just talk to people, ask questions, and listen closely. And when someone says yes, deliver the best version of that solution you can right now, even if it's messy, manual, or unfinished. That's how things get moving, not with complexity, but with clarity and courage. So here's a question for you. If you had to start something this weekend, with no delay and no overthinking, what's one problem you try to solve? Let me know in the comments. Your idea might be the spark someone else is waiting for. And if this video helped you, make sure to like, subscribe, and come back for more natural, story-driven English content every week. Thanks for watching, and wherever you are in your journey, remember this. You don't have to be ready to begin. You just have to begin.